Poetic beats. Poetic beats.
This is First GenXers.
Poetic beats. Poetic beats.
Good evening, y'all, and welcome to tonight's edition of The Classroom featuring, I just got word from O'Malley, she'll be here in a second. Damn updating computers. But for right now, I am here with the one and only Mr. Suave back again after a quick vacation. What's up, brother?
What up, man?
For sure. So as usual, you can find us on Facebook.com. Just search for The Classroom featuring. Like us, subscribe, get all the news, check out episodes, etc. All right. So we're going to bring you in real hot and fast here, Suave. We're going to start with the sports quiz question of the week, or at least of the segment, one of two. And we'll see what kind of answers you have here. All right. In the 1997 ALDS, American League Division Series, which player hit a walk-off home run for the Baltimore Orioles against the Seattle Mariners, sealing that series? Give you a few minutes to think about it. While you're thinking about it, we're going to talk some NFL regular season, Week 5 action, and we are going to open up with the Thursday night game. That was one hell of a game as the 49ers pull off the upset per Vegas with being 8.5-point underdogs, beating the Rams 26-23. They came out hot, went up 14-0 early, and after that, it just the offense didn't stall because Mac Jones made some great plays, almost threw for a career high. He had 349 and a couple of touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey did Christian McCaffrey things. And they ended up getting the victory. Suave, before you give us your thoughts on this game, we'd like to welcome in the lady that always makes every episode fun, the one and only O'Malley. What's up, O'Malley?
What's up? Sorry, but I'm great. Sorry about that. Computer decided to update right as I was trying to log in.
They should have an option to let you pause updates. Like, no, I really need to use my computer.
Right. Exactly. It's like also too, I use Zoom for private practice, right? And how many times in one day does Zoom actually really need to update? Like for real.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. So Suave, you were kicking us off with your thoughts on the 49ers defeat of the Rams in LA, or as they like to call it, Levi South? Defeated the Rams 26-23 in overtime.
Mac Jones did what he's supposed to do. You know, he came in relief of Purdy. Purdy's not playing at the moment, so you go out there, you go for over 300 yards, you get 2 touchdowns, but most importantly, you don't commit any turnovers. They were missing some key pieces, so Kendrick Bourne had kind of a showing out game on why they decided to sign him right as the season kind of began for the depth purposes. So the Rams still have a lot to work on, a lot of things they got to figure out. Stafford played pretty well. Puka Nacua had a pretty good game, but they're still kind of working on some things. But the Niners and the injuries that they've had and being able to only have one loss on the season so far, it's critical. And that puts you in position to be a playoff team come the end of the season. as players start to kind of get healthy and return to the fold.
One quick historic note before I let O'Malley give her thoughts, or have O'Malley give her thoughts. The 49ers have 0 rushing touchdowns and 0 interceptions for the season. Not only are they one of the first teams since 1940 to start a season 4-1 with that particular statistic on their defense, but they also are the only team ever to start with that through the first 5 games. A very ominous stat for sitting on top of the NFC West. Your thoughts on this game, Ms. O'Malley?
Well, under normal circumstances, I would have said that the Niners didn't beat the Rams, that the Rams lost to the Niners, if that makes any sense. But given what they did with how many pieces they had missing, and the fact that fumble was a forced fumble in the end zone, I'm gonna actually say that the Niners actually freaking beat the Rams on this one. But for that play in damn near at the freaking 1 inch
Yeah,
line,
the goal line, yeah.
There wouldn't have been overtime. Also, kick the fucking field goal. Just kick the fucking field goal.
Yeah, tie it up. Take your shot. Let your defense do their thing. Take your shot.
So,
They've been beating up Jones all game.
It was a good game. I have to say, I don't like either team. We know. I mean, I probably dislike the Niners more than the Rams because the Rams are just irrelevant to me. But it was a good game. It was a good watch on a Thursday when I actually didn't have work that night. So that was a good watch. Good game. And with as many pieces as the Niners had out and were able to pull out that win, I give them props on that one. Amen. Mac Jones, man.
Like this kid is definitely showing. It's weird. Like who's the cat? O'Connell was just saying this to Swab the other day over in Minnesota that they call a quarterback whisperer. Which, by the way, he's working his work with. If you saw that game this morning, he's working his work with fucking Carson Wentz as well. But they call him. But Shanahan has had. Now this would be the third with Sam Darnold. Was his second consecutive backup that may go on to end up reviving his career elsewhere, and making some good money. Mac Jones is playing the way Mac Jones is playing because Mac Jones is playing for a contract. He's at the end of his Niners contract and could sign somewhere that needs a quarterback for decent money next year.
Well, I also think that Mac Jones got fucked in the post-Tom Brady New England Patriots. I don't necessarily think he got a good deal in all of that. And so, granted, it's with the Niners right now, but the kid's showing what he can do. So,
and a big hat nod to him, not only for the performance of the 350, I think it was like 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, etc., and kind of controlling that offense the way that he did against a very good Rams defense. He got beat up. Like Leon Spinks in a Mike Tyson fight.
That's the other thing that didn't make sense about them not kicking that field goal because he was hurt. He was limping. He was hurt. So he didn't
have it in it. I don't know if he had any more gas left in that time.
Bad play calling.
According to Sean McVay, he'd make the same calls a million times out of a million. So.
Yeah, of course he's gonna fucking say that.
Yeah.
Fucking narcissist. Right. Can't admit that he did anything wrong.
Well, so that leads us to this game from today, and I was hoping that we would have a closer game to talk about, but the Colts beat the Raiders 40-6 today, and it wasn't. I'll put it to you like this: Geno Smith pissed me off because I started him in 2 of my fantasy leagues today. He got me 10 in one league and 7 in another.
That was dumb.
I figured he could at least give me 16, 17. He was my primary starter, but that's because Brock Purdy's out. He was my primary starter. But needless to say, wow. I get it. It was in Indianapolis. home. You can say home court advantage or home field advantage, whatever. The Raiders didn't show up.
The Raiders don't have a home field advantage anywhere at this point because if you look at that stadium, and sorry, a lot of us said that was exactly what was going to fucking happen. A lot of those games look like the other team's home game. So, away, home, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
I'm not surprised. And yes, I'm a hater. Call me a hater. I don't fucking care. I'll own it. I'm a hater. My husband laughs at me all the time. He's like, I know that Raiders fan is still in there somewhere. Not as long as Mark Davis is alive and owns the team, it's not.
Oh, my goodness. Swab, your thoughts on this embarrassing loss in Indianapolis?
All right, so let me set the scene. I wake up in the morning, I kind of tune in to the Vikings for a minute, Vikings rounds, and then I kind of, watch a couple of movies with my girl, get on some video games for a minute, and then I just happen to turn the game on, and the Raiders are getting their ass kicked, and I was like,
The Browns put up more of a fight.
I mean, there's nothing else you can really say. They just flat out got curb stomped, and there were certain things to be lightweight hopeful for if you're a Raiders fan. GenX seemed had turned a corner after not a very good start to his career. But Brock Bowers is playing with some injuries, and he's literally probably your best offensive weapon. Geno Smith comes in after a few years in Seattle for the guy that he played with in Seattle, and you're figuring, okay, well, you can probably get some competent quarterback play out of it. And Daniel Jones looked like a playoff contender.
Yeah.
I mean,
Daniel Jones looked like an actual quarterback.
And I can't even explain it. I mean, if you told me that New York Giants Daniel Jones was going to move to another team, end up becoming the starter, and actually have that team looking competent, I'd be like, nah, you go ahead and keep your money because I'm keeping mine. There's just no way. And here he is.
That wasn't on your 2025 bingo card?
Yeah. Because, and this is the type of game right here where you wonder, did the Raiders make the correct choice in bringing in Geno Smith versus doing other things like just letting O'Connell keep his job or drafting Shedeur Sanders? Because at this point,
hard after Daniel Jones.
Or bring in Daniel Jones. I mean, could he have done what he's doing for Indianapolis with the Raiders? I mean, it just,
No,
I didn't,
because it's the Raiders.
Yeah, probably not.
Because it's the Raiders.
Yeah, he would have looked. It would just been the Las Vegas
It would have been
Giants.
Giants. Giants 2.0. I think it has so much to do with the team and the leadership and all of that. And karma. We call this karma. This is the Oakland curse, folks. This is the Oakland curse. And I'm here for it, and I'm loving every fucking second of it.
Well,
they just got flat manhandled.
Let me say this as well on the Daniel Jones note. I still don't understand how he won the starting job over Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson actually played pretty well last year, outside of being concussion city for half the season, and getting a concussion or getting hurt in some way every couple of games. Like, the kid, talent-wise, was – so how we went into this season with Daniel Jones as a starter from day one is like, is Anthony Richardson going to have to go someplace else to find his career?
Yeah.
Because Daniel Jones is young enough that Indy could ride him for the next 5-10 years easy.
Yeah. Watch Anthony Richardson get traded.
He could be what Andrew Luck was supposed to be. Not that Andrew Luck wasn't that talent-wise. He was. He just didn't play long enough to really live up to the expectations that
I don't know. He kind of did. I mean, Andrew Luck was a generational talent out there. He just got tired of getting beaten up. And, I'm not giving CTE, for nothing. Y'all going to have to do something around me. He was a Stanford kid coming in, right? He wanted to save that brain. He didn't want to lose all that intelligence. Yeah.
Like he's got other future endeavors.
Exactly.
I want to be able to
being
walk.
the GM of Stanford football.
Yeah.
That's off the hook. Like, Andrew Luck is running that team now. Well, not the team. He's not the head coach, but still. All right. So the next game was just an interesting one as the Cowboys – in the battle of futility, the Cowboys outlasted the Jets 37-22. I think Cowboys fans need to settle in for this. This is going to be most of your season, but most of the games you're going to lose. The games when the offense plays well, the defense is going to play like shit. And the games when the defense plays well, the offense is going to play like shit. Don't expect to go to the Super Bowl. Don't expect to win too many games. But that's just my personal thoughts on the Cowboys.
I'm sorry, but any Cowboys fan cheering and making a big deal of this win is just, yeah. It's the Jets.
I mean, a win is a win, and the Jets have a lot of nice young pieces. They got a nice young team. They haven't figured it out yet. They thought Aaron Rodgers would be able over the last 2 seasons to help get them over the hump with the quarterback play. And I'm a firm believer in Justin Fields. But for especially in football, it's wins like this that you can't afford to lose. And this was the game the Cowboys desperately needed to kind of, get their season jump started. If they can find some rhythm on offense and the defense can do just enough, they could find themselves in the playoffs. Whereas the Jets, they're still trying to get it figured out. But they did put up 22 points.
Getting into the playoffs doesn't ever appear to be their issue. Through the playoffs is their issue.
You got to be able to get there to at least have that chance of getting, making the run. Because when you get to the playoffs, it's just 4 wins, depending on where you're at.
Let me say it like this: they're not better than the Eagles. They're not better than the Commanders. No offense
Definitely
to
not,
them,
but they got a puncher's chance to beat anybody.
Yeah, like they can beat a team if a team beats themselves. That's where the Cowboys are at right now. And speaking of Les Commanders,
I have a happy husband.
Yes, you do.
Because not only did they win, but they were in the viewing area this weekend, so we got to see them win. So I got a message of, we just won. LOL, talk to you later. Okay, yes, thank you. I
just
know
to
you
remind
won.
you.
Yeah, I know you won. Because I had he was very upset when he called at halftime, and I knew you were going to call because it's halftime. He's like, well, you didn't expect me to call you during the game, did you? I said, no, I actually expected you to call me right now. That's why I said that. And then he was very kind of upset because I wasn't actually watching the game. So, yeah, because I was watching a movie with Mom. So he was a little perturbed that I was not actually watching the game. They were not quite winning, or no, they were just starting to win at that point. But I told him I had the score pinned to my phone, so I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, I expected that win anyways. Like, if they had not won that game, I would have been shocked. They've been dealing with injuries too. So
I would say I watched a full 8 hours of Red Zone today because Niners game was on Thursday. That was done, so there was no need for me to try to watch a whole game. I just watched Red Zone for my fantasy scores, and that was about it. But I did watch.
Do you need a drink during that with Geno Smith being your number one?
Well, only on one of my leagues, and it still looks like I might win that game if Shakir can have a good afternoon. It looks like my winning streak in my league with Suave is over. Looks like I'm about to end up 5-1 or 4-1. So at least I'll be just like my Niners at 4-1 and in the top half of the division. So I want to say,
I like how you just snuck that in there, right? Just had to get that in.
I want to say, all right, so. We also saw the Lions, as predicted, beat the Bengals. The Bengals have just they're back to being the Bengals. If you get what I'm saying, like the Bengals were really good, and I'm pretty sure when Joe Burrow comes back, I don't know why Flacco just rolled off the cuff.
Wrong Ohio team, sir.
But Joe Burrow comes back, they'll be back to being good. But by that point, their season will be washed down the drain. They're already 2-3. I don't think they're winning too many more games without them. But what are your guys' thoughts on this Lions win? They needed it, getting a 4-1. But what are your thoughts, Suave, on Lions beating up on the Bengals?
These are the kind of games the Lions have to have. You got a down team in the Bengals that haven't really figured out how to get behind the backup and make him serviceable to help, get some wins. They did put up 24 points against a pretty good Lions defense, but at the same time, I don't think that, every Bengals fan is begging for Burrow to come back and be healthy when he actually gets back. So, a good win for Detroit is what, contending teams do. They are playoff teams do. They get in there, they beat teams they should win on paper and pull it out on the field.
There you go. O'Malley, any thoughts?
I mean, coming from a place where they were at last year, both of those teams, like one I guess could have expected this. I don't know. I don't really care. This team doesn't. I mean, what the rumble in the jungle with the Lions and the Bengals? Where's the Bears? Oh, Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh my!
Oh my! But yeah, no, it was an easy win. Now in my other league where Geno Smith was not my main starter, Jared Goff was, and he put up some decent numbers for me. So he normally does. Like he's good fantasy wise for some points.
I mean, I really feel like Goff and Stafford really kind of did the flip flop in what they were doing with their respective teams. Honestly.
But haven't both? No. Goff has. Yeah. No. Goff has not taken the Lions to a Super Bowl yet. He got,
but almost. But he got closer than
Stafford ever did as a Lion.
As a Lion, because I was going to say, didn't Stafford win the Super Bowl as a Ram?
as a Lion.
As a Lion, right.
Yes, let's clarify that.
And what's funny is that Goff took the Rams to a Super Bowl. So, like, I believe they lost that Super Bowl to New England.
Yeah, lost to the Patriots.
Goff? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's been to a Super Bowl. All right, so let's go ahead and close out this wonderful NFL segment with our MLB baseball question because, the playoffs are going on and stuff. Yankees lost 13-7. Go Toronto. Anyway, in 1997 ALDS, which player hit a walk-off home run for the Baltimore Orioles against the Seattle Mariners, sealing the series? Any guesses?
I mean, I got some names, but they're probably all wrong. I mean, I'm trying to think of who the hell was playing for the damn Orioles back then. Brady
That's like forever
Anderson,
ago.
Rafael Palmeiro. I know they had I don't think it was Albert Bell or somebody like Albert Bell that was hitting a lot of homers back then, but I can't think of his name. And then I thought about that Baseman Davis, but I think that's like 10 years too soon. So yeah. I have no idea. I'm not really big of an Orioles fan.
Shrug of shoulders, or you want to take a guess?
Bro, I don't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
I
definitely don't remember freaking the World Series that my team had no bearing in the year I graduated from high school.
All right. Well, both of you guys should remember this name because he was pretty popular in his day. But the one and only Roberto Alomar.
Roberto Alomar. Yeah, he was a great shortstop, second baseman.
Yeah. So, all right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and take that quick break and do our commercial thing. And we will be back after the break to talk some basketball. We're going to talk a little Warriors with Kuminga and signing and the signings that they've made and what the team outlook is. And then we'll also talk about some MLB playoffs. You're watching The Classroom with O'Malley and Suave and Darklow 100 right here on First GenXers Broadcast Network. Peace.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat with Poetic on the flow. Got you moving to the beats with the Saint as your host. Shout out the collective, hold it down, we gon' clown, that's the lesson. Where Generation X meets Generation Next, with them bangers from the east to the south to the west. Yeah, this how we do it in Sacktown. Slide to the studio, yup, it goes down. Everybody fall through. These beats gon' pound, waking the game up, told you it goes down. And this is only the intro. Turn the mics on, shout out to my kinfo. Where you at, y'all? Let's get this started. Turn down for what? We about to start the party. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
Got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me, I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose, camera, switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that banner.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah, come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
All right, and we are back. Hope you guys enjoyed that little block there. Get up and go use the restroom, whatever you need to do. All right, so kicking into the second half, we of course start out with our final sports quiz question of the night. Before the Red Sox broke the curse of the Bambino in 2004, their last World Series appearance was in 1986. But which team eliminated them in the 1999 ALCS? Think about it for a minute, and we'll get back to that. We open up this NBA block, not with the Kuminga story. We will get to that. But we open it up with Doncic and the Lakers. I guess J.J. Redick, the story is that J.J. Redick has installed a new expectation of physical conditioning, and that is that every Lakers player must be in top shape, ready to go, able. Yeah, exactly. And
shouldn't that have already been like that needed to be said?
Oh,
Bruh.
Man.
Bruh.
I'm not.
Really?
I just bring the news to you. I don't create these rules. Yeah, I would have thought that. I was watching something, or I was talking, I believe, Swab about it earlier this week, and I'm like, Luka ain't never played defense. It don't matter if he's in shape or not. until you can get Luka to play defense.
Round is a shape.
We'll say he is looking the best he's ever looked coming into
That
camp.
is true. That is
You
true.
know, and
That is true.
if this had happened last year, maybe he's still in Dallas. Who knows? But um, I don't know how this leaked, but it shouldn't have leaked out because it's definitely something. I
Not a good
mean,
look. Not a good
yeah,
look.
let's be honest. You're professional athletes making millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think the minimum deal is a milli. So there's
Somebody
no
got to tell
excuse
you
not
to
to
be
be
in
in
shape.
shape going into camp. And the top
Yeah.
tier players really have no excuse to not be in shape going into camp. Especially if you haven't won anything. At least Shaq had the excuse when he got fat and lazy that he was coming fresh off a title or two, and he was like, "Well, I can just eat chicken wings and go out there and still get 30 and 15. So I'm not really changing barbecue chicken." You feel me? So
Yeah.
Luka didn't
He
have
earned,
any excuses.
yeah.
Yep.
Shaq earned that. Luka hasn't
Right.
earned that yet.
And it's I'll say this. I hope Luka does turn it around, and I hope he keeps it going, and that he is something that the Lakers can justify spending as much money as they've signed him to on. Like, bottom line, like it's I appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that he is trying to turn his look around and turn his image around and become a member of the pantheon of great players that have played for the Lakers. But we got a long way to go, Luka. But getting in shape, step in the right direction, sir. Step in the right direction. All right. Next up is the saga that seemed to never end finally ended over this past week as Jonathan Kuminga finally signs a 2-year, $46.8 million contract with a team option for the second year. But basically, the way the contract is put together, the whole contract can be blown up next year, and he can sign a new contract with the Warriors if he chooses to. He says he's committed to winning in San Francisco. Swab, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know. I would have bet big money he would have been traded this offseason, but the Warriors just couldn't pull the trigger on any of the deals that were presented to them, which is understandable. They want to get, maximize value. They do see that Kuminga is a guy that could go out there and be the number one option for a team. Maybe not necessarily a winning team, but at least a number one option, period. I'll be curious to see Kuminga actually buy into whatever role the coaching staff foresees for him. Can he be that Sean Marion type of guy, the player that Kerr wanted him to be, to carve out a nice role in huge minutes for this team? You've seen a lot of the other players, you know, fall into their roles. Pazinski, Moody, Post. And Post came off a 10-day and two-way contract. So, at some point, Kaminga has to buy in. He got a piece of the bag that he wanted, not all the bag that he wanted, but he's going to have to go out there, acquiesce to the role, unless he's either traded to a team where he can be the number one, number two guy, or go out there and, I foresee, especially until Anthony Melton's actually fully healthy, there is a chance he could start for the Warriors with Jimmy playing the two. But I got a feeling that the Warriors would be better served to get Kuminga to come off the bench and be that igniter off the bench with Buddy Hield. So I think Buddy Hield and Kuminga, if Hield doesn't start, him and Kuminga could come off the bench and be instant offense while Curry, Butler, and the crew are kind of resting. Because that's one thing about this team is they're not going to get anywhere without health. Health stopped the team last year from doing anything exciting. That it looked like it could. They weren't able to get to their full or reach their full potential. So hopefully they can manage minutes. You got I've seen a lot of the San Francisco Oaks and the San Francisco grandfathers, and I saw one where everybody had the white beards on, and I was like, bro, Curry ain't even going gray yet. You got him looking all old and Uncle Drew. It was like, okay. But I gotta admit, all their stars are or their starters are essentially
30 up.
35, 36, 37.
Yeah.
They're up there, so there's no getting around it. They need to average about 30-ish minutes a game to be able to maintain their health and maintain their rhythm. So they're going to need a second unit to actually play well, and that's where Kaminga is going to come in, depending on what his role actually ends up being with this coaching staff.
Amen. Amen. And O'Malley, your thoughts on Kuminga being happy that the standoff is over and signing his contract?
Is he happy? That's yet to be seen, because money was only part of the issue, a small part of the issue. It's whether he goes out there and is a team player and is okay with playing whatever role that they've got him playing. That was his biggest issue prior to all of this. That, I think, was more of an issue than the money. So, and the money comes along with the fact that the other part is he feels his station in life in the Warriors hierarchy should be more and is more than what it is, and maybe what it was prior to Jimmy Butler coming in. So I think a lot of it is going to, he has a great opportunity to go out there and play and give it like a big fuck you, as in this is why, right? Really show it, in rather than going out there and still being butthurt about the whole situation. So, you know, is he actually happy is a whole other story that we finna find out here soon.
So, all right, y'all, we're gonna move forward. Still with the Warriors, but it is the additions that the Warriors were one of the additions the Warriors were able to make after the Kuminga situation resolved itself, and that was our Warriors have finally put ink to paper, and signed Al Horford, their new starting center. Which to me, he signed a multi-year deal. Doesn't give any actual numbers on how much, but I think Swab brought this up to me earlier this week when we were talking about it, that he's kind of like an Andrew Bogut type. Like, he's older, he's not going to exactly be a lot of run and gun. He's not JaVale McGee. He's not going to be, catching Curry dunks. But he can hit threes. He can play some solid defense. And the combination of him, Jimmy, and Draymond on the same team is going to make this team hard to score on. But I was thinking more intriguing was the combination of him and Kuminga when he played some minutes with that second team. I think that duo can take the Warriors' places as far as when Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond are off the court. We'll see. But the addition of Horford was huge to me. O'Malley, kick us off first with your thoughts on Al Horford becoming a new starting center for the Warriors, at least for the next couple of years.
I mean, we needed it. I think it fills a gap that we've had. So I think we all saw this coming. The drama of Kuminga has just put this on the back burner and on hold, and seeing what happened with that. So I'm glad that it finally got done. I'm actually kind of irritated that, like, here we are about to start the season and these things are still being wrapped up. Like, this would have been nice to have gotten wrapped up a couple months ago.
Yeah. 100%.
So, but hey, season starts in a few weeks. Let's go.
That's real. Swab, your thoughts?
I mean, he's probably the best center that they've had since Andrew Bogut. He does a bit more than Andrew Bogut. He's expanded his game since he first played in the league, which feels like a long time ago because it was. And even though he's incredibly old, or on the older side of his career, he can finish out this contract. He's a guy that can go out there. The Warriors do have youth at the position. You start Horford about 24 minutes a game. You let Post come in. You got, Guy Santos. They've got guys that can come in and kind of, help Horford get to the end of his deal. But Having said that, since Andrew Bogut, this is probably the most complete 1 through 5, 1 through 7, 1 through 18 that the Warriors have had. You've got Curry, Anthony Melton looked great as a Warrior last year before injuries and the trade got to him. You got Buddy Hield. Um, the additional Horford, I think, is a positive. You got a guy who can stretch the floor and create slashing lanes. I think you're spot on with Kuminga. That definitely would help him, although I'm not sure how often um, Horford and Kuminga will play together, depending on Horford's minute limitations. He's probably one of the older Warriors, so and he's on a multi-year. It's not like you can just, smush him into the ground on a 1-year contract and try to eke out every last drip of his career this year. You got to make it last, because even if he gets
Make
hurt and
it
can't
last
play,
forever.
yeah, because
Well,
if
I
Horford gets
see.
hurt, then the Warriors have to pay his contract regardless, fully guaranteed in the NBA versus the NFL where you can cut him and save a buck. So they've got to eke out every minute of this contract without Horford.
Well, I'll say it like this: I think a rotation of him and Quentin Post will serve us well this season.
And
They're
don't
both
forget
similar.
Santos. Post is
Yeah,
not going to play 24 minutes this year. He's going to get about 12 to 15, and then Santos can come in for about 10 or so, and that leaves half the game for Horford to be in there and keep him fresh all year.
there you go. All right. So to round out this Warriors roster and the final subjects on the Warriors that we'll be talking, they also brought back GP2, one of their defensive stoppers, and they re-signed DeAnthony Melton. As Swab just mentioned, Melton was a part of the team last year, got hurt with, I believe, an ACL injury, and the Warriors ended up trading him for Dennis Schroeder, which was basically DeAnthony Melton light. And he was serviceable. He worked for a while. But this year they went back. Evidently, this was always in the works that Melton was going to come back to the Warriors. They don't expect him to play, I think, until November, December, the first part of the season. They don't expect him to play because he's still rehabbing from the ACL, but they say he's looking good. And, of course, like the Warriors always do, they're going to bring him along slow because they have enough talent to do that. Right now, they don't really need Melton until basically the second half of the season, and the playoff push is where they're really going to need him healthy. So, Swab, kick us off with your thoughts on them bringing back GP2 and signing DeAnthony Melton as well.
GP2 is kind of a no-brainer. He's towards the end of his career. He's coming off a few years of catching the injury bug. So, bringing him back was a no-brainer. I think they brought back Anthony Melton to kind of replicate how they started last season. The Warriors, before the Jimmy Butler trade, started the season 12-3 with Anthony Melton before he got hurt. So hopefully bringing him back, it's obvious that they were missing him once he got hurt, and they're lucky to have been able to use him to even bring in Schroeder a little bit later. So um, I really like these additions. I know it's a lightning in a bottle type situation, but for depth, they've also got Seth Curry, so the Curry brothers will play together and they'll get some time together. Um, it's pretty good. I think the Warriors are a legitimate championship team, although we do have to see it kind of come together on the court. Everybody has to remember before the trade, they were 12-3 to start the season, and they looked like they were going to be gangbusters. And then at the end of the season, after the Butler trade, when Curry and Butler played, they won 75% of their games. And that's before these moves this season, which include Al Horford. So
Yeah.
I really think the Warriors should be considered championship contenders, but they're going to have to go out there and prove it. A couple of the teams that dropped, like the Celtics, are not going to have a good season. Indiana Pacers really won't be beating anybody. So,
Halliburton's out for the year,
even
yeah.
though they're on the eastern side of the deal, if the Warriors can get to the finals, I don't see another team in the East that could beat this Warriors team in a 7-game series
There you go.
outside of the Cavs
And
getting over the hump.
well, I mean, and I hate to even bring this up, but the main contenders in the East have some main players out probably for the entirety of the season because everybody and their mama injured their Achilles last year.
Right, toward their ACL, everybody.
Freaking what the hell, folks? So, I mean, yeah, I'm actually one of the happiest that I was with the GP2 re-signing. I know it's small compared to a lot of other things, but the joy and fun he just brings to that court, like he's just a goofy motherfucker and he's fun to be out there. And I think that helps, just like Steph's attitude and Steph's leadership. That helps the morale of the team, and it makes a difference sometimes. And it's nice to. We have players who've been with their teams. We got a bunch.
Yeah,
they've been talking about that lately, about not just our age, but how long both Draymond and Steph have been with this team. And you don't see that very much anymore. So I absolutely love it for these guys. And this could be the last hurrah.
Well, next year for sure, but
yeah. I did want to touch on something before we move on to our final subject of the night. Suave, yeah, I forgot to mention the fact that they locked up Seth Curry as well, which to me is huge because Seth is a great shooter. He's an above average defender. I wouldn't call him elite, but he definitely works on that side of the ball. And I've been wanting to see him and Steph run together for a very, very, very long time. Didn't he play for the Warriors? Yeah,
for like a hot second right after coming off of, I think he was with the Santa Cruz, the G League team, and then he came and played, I think, for like a half a second.
And then went, and
then was traded. Same with Lee.
Oh, the brother-in-law, Steph's brother-in-law.
Yeah, the brother. We got the whole family, folks.
We got the whole family. All right, so we're going to take a quick look, guys, before we close out the show at the MLB Playoffs. Currently, let's see, what do we have? We have the Yankees and Toronto playing each other, with Toronto currently having a 2-0 lead. And then we have, who's the other one?
Come on, Blue Jays.
Yeah, come on, Blue Jays. Stomp them Yankees. I know my one of my favorite guys, Stephen A, would be pissed about that, but I don't care. I want to see them. Yeah. Was tonight the opening game of the preseason?
No, yesterday.
Yesterday was? Okay, because the Warriors and Lakers are playing right now. I did not know that.
Basketball. Sorry.
Basketball.
Warriors and Lakers are playing right now. Warriors were up last time I saw.
Yeah, they're up 62-55, but that's not the beginning of the season, right? That's
no.
This
is preseason. This is preseason. Yeah. But they do play the Lakers for opening game. It's like the 20-something.
Again,
I just
many are
looked at this earlier.
The Lakers to blow us out, but I don't think that's the way it's going to go down. Tigers are up over. It's Tigers and Mariners in one of the ALDS games. Currently, the Mariners are up 2-0 over the Tigers to tie the series. Yankees beat Toronto, or Toronto beat the Yankees yesterday, with the Toronto being up 2-0 over the 4-seed Yankees, who just beat the Red Sox. The Dodgers are currently up 1-0 over the Phillies.
That was a hell of a game. That was a hell of a game.
And you got Milwaukee Brewers, who ended up being the number 1 seed in the NL, up over the Cubs 1-0 as well. So, O'Malley, I'll let you kick off.
October 21st in LA is the first game of the season. Warriors versus Lakers. Baseball. Well, I don't understand why some teams are getting no game today. Like what this no game is. I don't like it. Just play. Fuck. But that Dodgers game last night was a hell of a game. I watched it. Of course, my husband was really pissed off because they showed the earlier games, just like they had showed the Padres games. And he's like, the one fucking game I care about, he doesn't get to watch. So because it's on TBS, but it was a hell of a game. That was a great game to watch. I think Philly did not expect that to happen last night. Teo, I gotta say, they better pay that man in the offseason and lengthen his contract, because I think they only re-signed him to a 1 or 2 year deal. But that man turns it up in the offseason. Same with Kike. Both Hernandezes. This is where they shine. Shohei pitched a good game. Yes, he gave up 3 earned runs, but 9 strikeouts in 6 innings. And then Roki Sasaki to close out and save the game. Shit, with freaking on the edge of our seats at the bottom of the eighth with the walk the bases loaded, and thankfully it is what it is, and Teo's 3-run home run really sealed that deal. So that it was a hell of a game, and the Phillies just gave up home field advantage.
I've watched more highlights than I have whole games, but everything that I've seen has had me like, wow, right now the MLB playoffs is on fire.
And why did the Yankees game seem more like a football score than a baseball score?
Because the Yankees pitchers gave up all of their juice beating the Red Sox. That's what it is. Beating the Red Sox. That series meant more to them than this one.
And look at the Mets, who spent all that money and didn't even make the playoffs.
But Juan Soto had a great season.
He earned his money.
He's like, I earned every dollar. I don't know about y'all, but I earned every dollar.
I don't know what you're doing.
All right, Swab, what are your thoughts on the MLB playoffs?
I pray the Blue Jays can beat the Yankees anytime, any year that the Yankees lose. I don't care where my former team ends up in the standings or in the throws. As long as the Yankees lose, I'm a happy camper. So come on, Blue Jays. After that, the Mariners, you got to give them their flowers. They kind of came out of the cellar. You know, Cal Raleigh had a hell of a season, probably one of the best offensive catcher seasons we've ever seen in the history of the game. You know, he was just an explosive force for that roster. I did not see the playoffs in the Mariners, you know, to
Bingo
start the season. Yeah. But they definitely turned on and got hot. And I'll be honest, I kind of stopped watching baseball lightweight, and then we get to the playoffs, and I'm like, Mariners doing in the playoffs, you know. So
hey, if you want to say that, you could also say that about who they playing. Where the Tigers come from? Like last time I remember watching baseball, the Tigers were like, well, actually,
the Tigers
were beating the A's asses 3 years in a row.
The Tigers have been the business, off and on for the past few years. So, like,
hey, go Detroit. Go Detroit. It's a reason. Hey, they got the Lions that can make a Super Bowl run at any point, and now they got the Tigers who look like they're doing pretty good. They're actually leading the series 1-0, so who knows?
Yeah, but that game against Philly and LA, I think that was an incredible start to their series.
That was in Philly. Philly. That wasn't it. Yeah.
Yeah, Philly had a chance to really put a statement game down, and it looked like for most of the game it was about to go that way. And then the Dodgers do what World Championship fully loaded rosters do. They just, we only need 3 innings. Give us 1 inning. We're going to win this game. And the Phillies got caught late, and that's just how it happens. I mean, that's the beauty of baseball, really. It looked like the Phillies were in control and dominating that game, to be honest. And literally 3 innings of baseball, and it gets flipped on its head, and World Championship team goes from being off the mat to, taking control of the series in the first game. So it's crazy.
Here's the thing.
Just to remind everybody that they are the reigning World Series champions.
Now, here's the thing about it. I find that more than any other team in their position outside of the Golden State Warriors, right, pre-Kevin Durant, I have yet to see I very rarely ever see such a stacked team with a lot of people behind them instead of looking at them like they do the Yankees in the evil empire. When just like the Yankees, the Dodgers went out and bought up baseball to get their World Series title.
Yeah, but here's what's crazy.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, here's what I think is the difference. Unlike the Yankees of the early 2000s, the late 90s, so on and so forth, this Dodgers team, despite on paper looking as if they should be going 162-0 every season with the amount of money that they spend on free agents, so on and so forth, and their homegrown kids and how good they've been, the Dodgers are beatable. And what I mean by that is not that they're going to get beaten, but on any given day, you can have a lucky day and beat the Dodgers. They're beatable. They don't seem like this unbeatable monolith that like the Yankees did. Like it was just like nobody's beating the Yankees. Like even if you think your team has a shot at beating the Yankees, nobody's beating the Yankees. But the Dodgers, I've never really heard anybody say like we don't have a shot.
Yeah,
like
but somebody said that last year about the Yankees, and well, the Dodgers beat the Yankees.
Yeah. And so it's I think that's what makes them more likable. Is they look like a bunch of teenage kids out there having fun.
I love
like
it.
They genuinely do. And you take that and on top of that, it does kind of remind me of this. The Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez Yankees. They look like they were out there just having fun. They were still this big monolith that it was like nobody's beating the Yankees, but they look like they were having fun. And the Dodgers, every year when I see them, World Series or otherwise, they just look like they're having fun. O'Malley, what were you going to say?
Well, what I was going to say is, yes, the Dodgers have gone out and spent a shit ton of money, a lot of it being on pitching. Right. But some of their best players right now, some of the ones that they're really stacked at were one-offs. They're not the ones that they went and spent a shit ton of money on, right? Like Teo, yes, they re-upped him they went back and forth on whether they were going to do that in the offseason, and fans were like, you better fucking re-sign him. But it was only for a year or two. You've got Tommy Edman. You've got these guys. You've got Pajes. You've got guys who, yes, you've got Freddie Freeman. You know, and I love Freddie Freeman because I got to go see him play when he was starting in Atlanta, right? And you've got Max Muncy, you've got Mookie Betts. Yes, I get you've got some of those pieces, but there are other pieces that come in and do as much, if not more, than everyone else, are just your everyday run-of-the-mill, like, great baseball players, but aren't the ones that people buy their jerseys kind of, well, they are now, definitely are now, but some of them are homegrown. Some of them are literal hometown kids, right? So that is, and also what you said, right? Watch that last strikeout of the World Series and see them instantly turn into 12-year-old kids on that field when they won that game. And it just, they made, for me at least, especially after everything happening with the A's and being freaking down and depressed about that for decades and how management treated their team and the fans and all of that, they made baseball fun to watch again.
Yeah, I agree with that. Swab, final thoughts on.
I think the biggest thing about the Yankees is they were always the evil empire. It was, they were just outspending teams for their best players to bring them, put them in the pinstripes and get them all clean shaven. Whereas the Dodgers are spending money, but there were opportunities for those players. I mean, the Red Sox gave up on Mookie Betts. Atlanta gave up on Freeman. Otani, the Angels never put a good team around him outside of having, lucked into getting Trout. So past that, they never had any true contending teams to actually get to a World Series. So I'll say this as a former Athletics fan, I used to hate the Dodgers.
Same.
I couldn't stand them. I'm like, I hated that team.
I'm still bitter about that 88 World Series.
That's right. Kaiser and all them can burn in hell. But I tell you what, I can legit for the last, I don't know, maybe, and some of it I think is because of the Giants run and how their fans kind of reacted. Oh, we're the top dogs now. We're the better than best. Every other year we're winning the title. And it made it easier to kind of root for the Dodgers that hadn't really done anything since '88. And then they started putting momentum and changing the ownership group. And then Magic Johnson being on the ownership group, to me, is a huge thing because I can always support Magic Johnson. And then they start spending money and grabbing these pieces and getting the homegrown talent
doing all the things that we had wished our ownership had done.
Absolutely. So watching them get the fruits of their labor and have this ultimate team that compares to the old school Yankees team, but is way vastly more likable as an organization and as a team. I'll tell you what, I'll root for the Dodgers. I'm a Dodgers fan at the moment. I'm not like, I still have that bitterness about 88. Yep. I still had that bitterness about 88, but these
Yeah,
Dodgers,
we
I
got
mean,
into a bit of
man,
an argument about that last night because he wanted to rub that in a little bit.
Well, here's something I will say. For me, I always, as a kid, and I know it's going to sound funny, it sounds like you're hedging your bets, but I always had an American League team and a National League team. And during the mid-'90s, when my A's were doing well, but we're not doing really like World Series well, I fell in love with the Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Atlanta Braves.
Terry Pendleton, Fred McGriff, Dave Justice.
Yes.
Same.
Deion Sanders.
Yep. And I fell in love.
They were always my National League team because how could I get more opposite of the Giants without it being the Dodgers? Because fuck the 88 World Series.
The Braves were so easy to root for. I mean, a trio.
Yes.
The pitching was amazing.
Georgia.
The hitters.
Yes. Yeah. But then, I really can't be down with the cultural appropriation and all that kind of bullshit. So that kind of, lost some shit for me as I grew up and understood life a little bit more. And they sold the team and the team isn't what it is. And I'm married to a Dodgers fan and, that just doesn't work out that way anymore.
I will say this. I attended live the one-game playoff the year that the Giants and the Braves were in the same division at the time. This is before they started the 4-division thing. And they both had 101 wins. And they had a one-game playoff at Candlestick Park, and I was actually there for that. I'll never forget it because I was literally, I think I was all of 12, maybe 13, and wearing my Atlanta Braves
I literally cried when Tim Hudson went and played because he went from the A's to the Braves to the fucking Giants.
Him and Zito both played for the Giants. Yep. Gave some good years to them too. That being said, I'm kind of falling in love with this Dodgers team, despite, and they may be my new National League team. No offense to the Braves, love our history together. But this Dodgers team, like she said, is making it fun to watch baseball again. And I'm a huge Shohei Ohtani fan, so I can be like the LeBron fans of basketball. I'm just here for Shohei. That's it. I'm just here for Shohei. I can say I can definitely root for these guys. They're definitely that style of team. All right, so you guys have had about half hour to think about it. Before the Red Sox broke the curse of the Bambino in 2004, their last World Series appearance was in 1986. But which team eliminated them in the 1999 American League Championship Series? This has got to stand out to you. I actually genuinely remember this series.
I do not. 25 years ago,
The Angels?
Nope. I want to say close, but nope.
That was what I felt that was too obvious. I was gonna say the Yankees, but I felt like it was too fucking obvious.
The reason why that series stood out to me is that is the series that the Yankees won in Game 7 on the Aaron Boone home run that beat the Red Sox, the Kurt Schilling year. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I believe it was the Bloody Sock, or was that the
Bloody Sock is the year they won it, right?
That was the year, but that was with the Diamondbacks when him and Randy Johnson were with the Diamondbacks, and they won.
No. I thought the Bloody Sock was with the Red Sox.
Was it? I thought it was that ALCS, right?
No, but they won it the year that he had that, didn't they? I got to go back. We're talking 2.5 decades ago.
Yeah, but needless to say, I believe that's the series that the Yankees beat them. Like I said, on Game 7, it was a 7-game series, and they won it on the Aaron Boone home run in Yankee Stadium. I'll just never forget that because I was like, fuck, because I wanted the Red Sox to beat the Yankees so bad. So that'll do it for us for this week. For all of you guys that tuned in, thank you. We appreciate you. Keep tuning back in. We got more great content for you. I would say next up is Now versus Then, but Saints taking the evening off. So next up will be Night Shift at midnight, and then we'll be back, or some of us will be back next week for the classroom. Until then, y'all, stay up, stay out, and I'll say fuck the Yankees. Anybody you want to say fuck, Steve?
Fuck the Yankees. Fuck the Lakers. Fuck LeBron. We can do it
There you
all.
go.
Fuck LeBron. Fuck
There you
LeBron.
go.
Fuck LeBron. Fuck LeBron. Fuck JJ Redick and his fucking physical
Whoever
standards.
leaked that ought to be embarrassed.
Yeah, fucking bye.
And on that note, we out of here. Peace.
Warriors better.